Hello and welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well, friends. I really do hope that. Yes, my English there. Welcome back to, I suppose, Chelsea news, because we are going to talk about a sensational transfer story, but also reflect on superb performances from Chelsea boys Mason Mount and Raheem Sterling in England's 6-2 win against Iran in the World Cup. So I said Chelsea's because I was looking at that midfield of Declan Rice, Bellingham and Mason Mount, licking my lips going, if only that could be Chelsea's midfield. I saw circulating on social media a recent interview of Frank Lampard, I think it was yesterday, saying he tried to sign both Declan Rice and Bellingham when he was Chelsea manager. Oh, what could have been? So we are going to talk about Nkunku coming to Chelsea, looking like that's seemingly done, really. We'll reflect on a story there from the Express, and I do want to talk about this 4-3-3 Chelsea England won with, but should translate to Chelsea, because two players that are very good and have shown they can perform well in the Premier League in Mason Mount and Raheem Sterling. That is my first ever sneeze on Football Therapy. Damn. I never sneeze on camera. Anyway, a little bit of first time. That's blown my mind and just thrown me off. Didn't see that sneeze coming. Look, it's relevant because Mason Mount and both Raheem Sterling have proven they can be very effective Premier League players, whether at Chelsea or in Raz's case, more, I don't know, City and Liverpool, but City really. And in their preferred positions as a winger and an 8, they cooked, and we'll talk about that a little bit there. So thank you for joining me. Let's see if we can get over 2,000 likes. You can be the difference maker, man. Thank you for dropping a like. You're welcome to subscribe, and should you choose to do so, you should hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Oh, it's not a bad one. Before we talk about Christoper Nkunku and the reports coming out from France, which is actually really intriguing, let's reflect on England's 6-2 win against Iran in the World Cup group stages. England's first game, of course. Iran, let's have it right. They're no mugs. They generally don't concede a lot of goals. They've got a stubborn and resolute defence. They, of course, have got Mediterranean up front, who ended up scoring 2 goals against England in this game. And then the top 20 FIFA World Ranking clubs. Top 20 out of 211. So, all you gang, if you want to say, look at the opposition, yeah, but they're playing against Iran. Iran are good, They're not as good as England, but they're a good team, so it was an impressive performance. I have not been enamoured with Gareth Southgate's tactics, but for him to really go with an offensive formation that suited the players, obviously excellent performances from the likes of Bukayo Saka. I loved watching Rashford off the bench, Bellingdor, as we call him. Jude Bellingham scoring the opener and, looking excellent, dominant. Luke Shaw had a great game. Just good performances, but this being a Chelsea football-related channel, and I accept about, only 20% of my following is English, I'll stop waxing lyrical about England, and let's talk about the Chelsea-related players now. Raheem Sterling, of course, scored a goal, which, by the way, was an excellent darting finish. Clinical. He freshed it in with that touch. It was just an excellent finish. And he was good throughout the game, Raheem Sterling. He was good on one of the Saka goals. I think he's got a goal and assist. He won a few fouls. He's got a great relationship with Harry Kane in terms of one touch. But this formation suits him better, as well as the other England players. He knows how to play in transition. He can find his teammates. Granted, yes, it's against Iran, but people were speculating that England were going to have to probably try and win 1-0 in this game. And they scored 6 and probably could and should have scored more. Of course, the Iran goalkeeper, the first choice, came off with concussion. By the way, that was an absolute farce how he was allowed to make the decision to carry on, because that dude was, he was absolutely hammered by his own player, and his nose bust open. He broke his nose. He was concussed. You could see he just wasn't all there. If you're a medical professional, your absolute obligation to be like, hell no, is this guy going back on? So stupid. Anyway, so, you could maybe put that down. I don't know, to be honest, I don't think necessarily the goalkeeper was at fault for any of England's goals, so there is that. But they were cooking, man. And Mason Mount, in the number 8 position. Now, if you look at his heat map, he was absolutely everywhere. I've seen non-Chelsea fans wax lyrical about his performance, particularly in the first half, because he was so good on the half turn, occupying all sectors of the pitch if you look at his heat map. And his first half, I've got his stats here, he completed 100% of his dribbles, he won 100% of his tackles, he won 100% of his duels, and that's 7 out of 7. He won 100% long passes completed, which is 3 out of 3, but 3 long passes, switches of play completed in a game is excellent, especially when, you haven't failed, you haven't done one that's not been received. He created a big chance, he made 4 recoveries, and he won the most fouls. He was absolutely the difference maker in terms of, I know he created a big chance and all that kind of stuff, but in terms of functionality and moving the ball up the pitch, he was so good. We judge Mason Mount as an attacker because he's played as an attacker at Chelsea. He says when interviewed, he's like, no, I'm a number 8. I'm a midfielder. I always have been. But because he can turn the ball, he works really hard. People want to play safer, so they're like, put a more, hard worker up front. But you need more expressive wingery people up front, like the Bukayo Sakas of this world. Because Mount can assist and score, doesn't mean he's an attacker. It's like playing, Frank Lampard in the front. If Frank Lampard regen was in this team now, and we were playing him in a front three in a 3-4-3, he wouldn't be doing well. He likes to arrive late in the box and all that kind of stuff. It's just misusing him. So both Raheem Sterling in a conventional winger role in a 4-3-3. So he's got 8s behind him, and behind those 8s, you've got a CDM. And absolutely talking about Chelsea, we need a holding midfielder. I love the metronomic register world-class qualities of Jorginho. I love Mateo Kovacic's ball progression and his carrying. I love N'Golo Kante, and if fit, N'Golo Kante makes that midfield work with those other 2 profiles. But without it, you need a CDM, you need a stopper, you need a holding player, you need a conventional central defensive midfielder. Look what it can do. Look what it can do with offensive 8s like, Jude Bellingham and Mason Mount. We got loads of those. You can play Kovacic as an 8 happily with a CDM. You can play Mount, Gallagher, even Kai Havertz. I said this recently in a video. All these kind of profiles of players, you can put them in the midfield, and if we're playing, against a low block, they can squeeze up as well. And the wingers and the striker will still do, work hard. Everyone will benefit from a formation change. We did a video recently, it might have been the last upload, when we reflected on that story about how Graham Potter is looking to start playing a 4-3-3. Thank the Lord, because that seems incredibly appropriate for these Chelsea players, and you could see them shine more, occupying their roles that they're more comfortable with, that they've been trained with. Yes, Mount's really versatile, and that's great. Yes, so Sterling. Doesn't matter. Play them in their best positions. Simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. Comment your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, musings down below in the comment section, and let's move on. So, strictly transfer business. Of course, a big, exciting situation. Transfer story is Christoper Nkunku, who's just been, prior to his injury that's kept him out of the World Cup, sensational form this season and last season. He's not a one-hit wonder or a one-season wonder. He's a very good player. Now, of course, we heard about the pre-agreement signed, but stories were coming out saying, oh, now Real Madrid are trying to get him, and it's not all, it might not happen and all this. But we're getting stories now from France saying it's just done, basically. So Lewis Winters writes here on the Express, the headline is Christoper Nkunku to join Chelsea with, quote, everything completed, end quote, on transfer. So let's have a little read and react accordingly. Christoper Nkunku will join Chelsea next summer, with reportedly, quote, everything completed for him to move to Stamford Bridge. The French forward has widely been reported to be a top target for the Blues, as a deal appears to be finalised. Chelsea spent around £270 million in the summer transfer window. It was new owner Todd Boehly, well, he's co-owner, first opportunity to put a stamp on the club following the takeover. But it appears the Americans are still prepared to splash the cash, serious cash, in an attempt to close the gap on the likes of Manchester City. Nkunku has been touted as a top target for Chelsea in the last couple of months. So Nkunku goes with this, Sterling, Koulibaly, to a degree, Aubameyang, Cucurella, these players that can help us now. But of course, we keep speaking about the team of tomorrow, the Chukwuemekas, the Cassidays, the Endricks, all these players that are teenagers, essentially. The Amari Hutchinsons. So Todd Bowley's got 2 teams he wants to build. A really expensive and hopefully successful senior team now, but also start cultivating and percolating the super team of tomorrow. So Nkunku's 25. The 25-year-old has a release clause in his RB Leipzig contract of around £52 million, an amount the Blues were prepared to pay. Yes, sir. Chelsea were reported to have beaten rival competition for his signature. That's what you like to hear, right? And now French outlet Le Disport claims everything has been agreed between the 3 parties. The report says Nkunku will become a Chelsea player on July the 1st, 2023. So, as things stand this summer. Nkunku only signed a new contract with Leipzig in June this year, extending his deal to 2026. However, the clause was inserted to enable him to get a move at a minimum price. So clearly, he always had this plan to move on. I mean, he was at PSG, big club, didn't work for him. And then obviously he's gone to Leipzig, which isn't as glamorous. They're good contenders in the Bundesliga, but you might have your own opinions on Paris Saint-Germain for different reasons. But in terms of how much of a sporting force they are, Leipzig's got nothing on them. And also Leipzig has got its own non-glamorous background. Okay, let's not get into that. Chelsea are to activate the clause to make him their first signing next summer. There are reports Chelsea are wanting to bring Nkunku earlier in January. Well, however, Le Disport says there is no chance that will happen, and the player's agent, Pini Sahavi, remember him? Pini Sahavi, was he Willian's agent? He's got a great relationship with Chelsea, I think. These only organised a summer exit. I guess as things stand, though. Nkunku recently suffered World Cup heartbreak as he was ruled out of the tournament. And of course, he had a knee injury that kept him out. Leipzig confirmed their star man will have a period on the sidelines. It's unclear how long it will be out for. There are several treatment options for this injury. It is clear to see why Chelsea identified Nkunku as a top target. Bowley is in the market for a goal scorer, with Aubameyang yet to fire since his deadline day arrival in summer. Yet to fire since? He scored a couple of goals. Nkunku has scored 35 goals in all competitions last season. But he scored, and I think he got 25 assists. The goal involvements, the goal contribution stats and metrics are off the chain, man. He scores many, many, many goals. And assists, rather. But he has proven it was not a one-off, as he's already scored 17 goals to his name this term. Let's quickly see how many assists he has, because I think this is important, especially when you've got other goal scorers in the team. You need your sort of forwards, auxiliary forwards to be able to assist. Okay, so he's only got 3 assists. Fair enough. But last season, he would have got a lot of assists. Let's have a look. Last season, in the Bundesliga, he got 20 league goals and 13 assists just in the league. And of course, he scored 7 goals in the Champions League with an assist. And a hat-trick, was it against Man City at the Etihad? Look, man, this guy is absolutely on flames. He's got it in him. He's a superb player. What do you think about that, ladies and gents? It looks like it's going to happen. Chelsea will rebuild their attack, but who will stay and who will go? You'd have to assume Ziyech is going. Milan, I think, want the player. He wants to go to Milan. We don't know what's going on with Pulisic. It'll be very interesting to see what he does in the World Cup. I know he's been stripped of the captaincy, and is it Tyler Adams? Is that kid who's taken the Captain America title from him? It'll be very interesting to see what happens with Pulisic. Of course, he'll be in his last year in the summer. So that could be 2 out. What's going on with Hudson-Odoi? Are we gonna, Aubameyang, is he gonna hang around, or what are we gonna do with him? There's a lot of stuff to consider, but one thing is for sure, Chelsea look like they need to rebuild their attack, and I think personally we should change the formation to this, speculated 4-3-3, but we should absolutely buy that midfielder that we need. Whether it's Alvarez from Ajax or whoever it is, the profile, of course, the opportunity to sign Declan Rice in the summer will be massive, because I think Declan Rice Declan Rice will be on to his last 12 months. No, surely not. Well, we can check. We can check here, mate. Live on the... I'll say live. Recorded to speculate on when his contract... his contract expires in 2024. Yes, so we'll have a year left, although the club will have an option to extend, which you would imagine they would do. But regardless, he's not signing a new deal with West Ham. And because he's not, they'll just have to sell him in the summer. And West Ham employee, ex-West Ham employee, that guy on Twitter who's seemingly got transfer news, knowledge, and stories. He says yes, they will listen to offers for Declan Rice. And Declan Rice is a big Chelsea fan. He'll want to come back to Chelsea, etc. We could build that midfield. We know Todd Bowley wants Jude Bellingham. Could Chelsea build the England midfield? That is a good midfield. You don't have to have an allegiance to England at all to respect the balance of that midfield. And it doesn't have to be Declan Rice. We just need a holding player. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. I'll be down there reading them. Thank you for joining me on today's video. I do really appreciate all your support and interactions on the channel. And I look forward to seeing you guys very soon. Peace.